Hi everyone, I'm Elke. We're going to have a look at the native stingless beehive that we've got established here. We'll open it up. Sometimes, as a word of warning, sometimes there'll be an ant nest established in here and or spiders, so we'll just see what we've got. So they've resined everything up with all of their resin, and they've created all of that structure there with a combination of resin that they've collected from trees as well as wax that they produce off their bodies. So it's a kind of little maze entrance that we've just opened up. We do have a little bit of a spider in the back there that we'll deal with.
So these are native bees?
Native stingless bees, Tetragonula carbonaria.
Okay. And they look a little bit like flies.
They do. They're about 4 millimeters long. For comparison, the honeybee is about 13 millimeters long. They use their resin as a glue and a paint. It's antiseptic. Think Pino Clean, and it's extremely sticky. Metho doesn't get it off, Terps does.
Why has the box got a sort of wrapper?
It's mainly to keep the hive dry. So the placement of this hive is really strategic and important. It's facing east, getting the morning sun. Feels heavy, so that's good. It's a good sign. So the strap is holding everything together. Although once it's all strapped down, after a short while they'll glue all the joints together with all their sticky resin and sap. We'll strap everything back up when we're finished. Do you want a veil over your head? I think you're not getting impacted too much at the moment, but let me know.
And they're not going to sting me, so can they do anything else to you?
They can. They were just biting my eyelids before.
Oh, okay.
And trying to get into my ears.
Yeah, I've had a few try and get into my ears.
Oh, that's coming away really nicely. So there's the queen. Excellent. It's really rare to see the queen.
Oh, on top there.
There she is. I have a photograph of that on it too.
Great.
That's really, really rare to see the queen. Photograph. Get some video.
So the queen is the larger one with the big,
very enlarged abdomen.
Sort of brown and yellow or white stripes.
That's right. Once she has mated, which is once in her life, she then comes back and doesn't ever leave the hive and is pretty much on what's called the advancing front, which is what this is. It's the advancing front, which are the new eggs. I'll just take a photo of the queen because it's really rare. Oh no, she's gone underneath the plate.
Tucked away. So what?
It's really rare because she doesn't like the light. She stays indoors. She's in self-imposed permanent lockdown.
So where's the advancing front?
So yeah, okay, good question. So the advancing front is what's known what is the new eggs. So I don't know if you can see a difference in colour between this spiral.
Hang on, what I'll do is I'll get this.
I'll put it in the sun. So
what are the different things in here?
So what we've got the egg mass, which is in the centre.
Yes.
The pollen, which has been collected from many different flowers, and then mixed with enzymes and then packed together. The enzymes help keep the pollen for shelf life. And then in here is the nectar, that glistening stuff. That's all the honey or the nectar. So the honey has also come from flowers like the pollen, but they also mix it with enzymes and dehydrate it a little bit, and then pack it into these pots. So make the pots out of the wax and a bit of resin as well. And all of this structure around the nest is the bitumen plate. It's also made of the resin and the wax from their bodies. So the queen, she'll be on here, and I think Julian has some photos of her from when we first opened the hive, but she's gone into hiding. She doesn't like being exposed for too long.
So we have
these eggs up here, they're going to hatch first because they were laid a number of weeks, probably about 4 to 6 weeks before these eggs. The eggs down here are getting laid today and the last few days. So they're spiraling up. What's that direction? Clockwise. So they're doing a clockwise spiral up, like a Fibonacci style thing, like you might see in a pineapple. And as these eggs hatch here, all the worker bees, which are females, will wrap all the involucrum, the lining of the egg, take that out as a rubbish ball, and then they'll pack down the wax that's also made out of these egg cells and reuse it elsewhere in the hive, maybe to create a new egg cell.
Okay, so does the queen keep moving up?
The queen keeps moving up. She only lays eggs. She doesn't do anything else, so she gets fed. The worker bees are making all the egg pots ready for her to lay an egg into. They make the little pot. So see these little open pots here? They haven't been sealed up. There's a few on the edges. So they're making those pots, that putting a little bit of protein, which is pollen protein, and mixing it up with a little bit of carbohydrate or nectar, putting that into the base of the egg cell, and then the queen comes and inspects it, and if she's happy, she'll lay an egg. As soon as she's laid an egg into that open cup, then the worker bees come along again and seal up the egg cell. That's a little bit of a difference that these native stingless bees have to honeybees. So the honeybees' cells don't ever get sealed up completely straight at the point of the egg being laid.
So it looks very full in there.
It's good. It's looking really good.
Do they reuse the space over and over?
They do. They spiral up when they get to the top. They go back to the bottom and spiral back up.
Okay, cool. And do you mind just in a quick sequence, just name each of the things in there?
Okay, so entrance, the front, they've got a little maze that comes into here, to the back here. All of the resin and structures that they make, pollen here, eggs or brood, so this would be called the brood mass. The new eggs, which is this front part that you see, or top part, is the advancing front. The external part here, which is a bit of an air gap with all the structure, that's called the bitumen plate. And then at the back here, we've got a section of nectar or honey, or the pantry, the carbohydrate part of the pantry. And then the brood mass up here, or the egg mass up here, it's upside down. It does, the hive obviously has been opened up like this today. These eggs will hatch first because they've been laid first. The eggs down here are being laid in the last few days.
So these are actually the oldest,
older
and these
eggs.
Are the youngest.
Yep.
Cool.
Most of the bees you see here are the females. It's very hard to tell the difference between male and female.
So what happens here? Because obviously the queen is in that one.
The queen is here.
The queen's there? Oh,
The
sorry.
queen is on this plate.
Yes.
Remember we took
Yeah,
photos?
yeah, sorry, I've got them mixed
So
around.
this is going to
the
stay
bottom.
back here.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is, this is a empty hive that I've cleaned out and kept frozen for a while, and so they'll reuse all these pillars.
Yeah.
And so I'll put that on, and they'll be able to fill up this space now.
And what happens to requeen the top part?
Around this time of the year, they're making emergency queen cells. That's what I was looking for before. I couldn't see any to show you, but there'll be some in there, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll take that back to my my apiary, where there's a flurry of activity, much worse than that,
Yeah.
of lots of drones. It's kind of a drone hangout zone at the moment. The air is thick, so the drones, once they make their emergency queen, that queen is what we would call a princess, so she hasn't mated yet. So she will go out on one flight, mate with only one drone. His parts explode into her and he dies. She comes back to the hive as a mated queen, and then she spends the rest of her life in lockdown laying eggs. She will lay about 400 eggs a day for the rest of her life, and that life can be about between 1 to 4 years. But if the colony thinks she's not going so well, not laying enough, or having a strong enough pheromone, then the colony will make a decision to kick her out and overthrow her with another queen. So they are constantly making queen cells, even emergency queen cells in spring, even if they've got a great queen already. It's just something they do depending on season and weather.